Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heart of a Hobbit. Hope everybody is having a great day. It's a lot of exciting things happening in LOTRO right now. So I'm hanging out here with one of my elf gals, currently named Narna. We'll see if that changes. And that by that I am referencing the server changes that are forthcoming here in the next month or two. So we can get into all that. So hello, Skagosi. I see you there in the chat. Good to see you. Welcome. So yeah. Let's see. So first, okay. So my mind is all over the place. So I've been spending some time over the last week starting up a new page on my spreadsheet, one of my LOTRO spreadsheets, and one of the files I have with all sorts of LOTRO stuff. And I've been going through server to server and cataloging various pieces of information about my characters. So I do have multiple Narnas, and we shall see where they all go and what I'm doing. So RPG MMO asks, what server are you moving to? So I meant to make a little thing. I was going to make some words on the screen. I forgot to do that. That kind of show the different names of all the different servers. Actually, it just occurred to me that my server text is incorrect because we're not hanging out on Mordor today. We are hanging. Hi, Casper. We are hanging out on Laurelin at the moment. Lin. Hi. How you doing, buddy? So, to answer your question, all of them is my current plan. So, hello, Loshire. Welcome. Loshire waves and offers s'mores and says hello to Casper. Hello, Loshire says hi to you, honey. He has been like so friendly lately. Like he is Mr. I will take your scritches. Thank you very much. Please and thank you. Whereas, previously that was not the case with this guy. And he's been like on my lap recently. Yeah, he's turning into more of a lap cat. He doesn't stay very long, and usually he's actually more interested in like being kind of what I would call lap adjacent. So he's like leaning hard up against me, or he's got like part of him on my lap and part of him next to me. So let's see if he can. We might get a little bit of that action here. Oh, look at you being so cute. Thanks, buddy. So yeah, I haven't got a full total of all my characters yet. So here's part of the thing too. Okay, so let's review in case there's anybody in the chat who's not caught up to date. Is Standing Stone Games, the servers are currently on 32-bit servers, and they have been experimenting, SSG has, with 64-bit servers. They currently have, in the LOTRO sphere, we have two, one that is called Angmar and one that's called Mordor. And those two are like VIP only servers at this time. So you have to be a subscriber to be able to play on there. But they're 64-bit servers, and Mordor is located in the EU. So that's been a nice change for those of us who live over here, because we haven't had a server in the EU since the old Codemasters days, which predates me. So King Cookie 95 says hello there. Hello. And Skagosi says, you're beautiful, buddy. You are. He is gorgeous. Yes, you are. He's so beautiful. Sometimes I'm like, how did we get so lucky on having such gorgeous, well-behaved, and wonderful little kitty cats? You are. I love my little fur monsters. My little murder bots. He's not much of a murder bot, though, actually. He watches things, but he's not very good at attacking them. It's really kind of funny. Anyway, okay, yes. So, two servers exist right now that are 64-bit, and the rest of them are 32. But now that Angmar and Mordor are working out pretty good, and they've had time to kind of watch how they're working and where the pain points are and stuff like that. That's my guess, just based on how IT works. That they are now ready to move forward with getting more 64-bit servers wound up for the regular servers. So that is, let me grab my little cheat sheet here. Currently on the US side, and this is, when I say US and EU, basically back in the early days of LOTRO, there were actually two different groups of people managing the game. And there were servers in Europe and there were servers in the US. And the ones in the US were managed by, the ones in Europe were managed by a group of people called Codemasters. And they used, now Severlin was just on Court of the Rings on Friday last week. And there was some really interesting things that came out of that conversation. So one of the things he mentioned is that they used overlapping ID numbers for things. So I'm guessing that would be like, for example, like this crown that she's wearing. It's possible that the same ID number was used for that on both, but then that would work, right? Maybe that was used for that on one, but then like maybe Codemasters used it for the crown, and then maybe Turbine used it for the jacket or something, maybe something like that. So there's something about overlapping numbers that has caused this conflict. When the characters are on Mordor and Angmar, no, definitely on Treebeard, he was saying that the numbers they're using there, the sequences are in a whole different range, I guess. So there's not overlapping problems, and that's why the characters who are on the legendary servers so far, like Anor, Ithil, Shadowfax, and then coming up Treebeard, are able to transfer off onto either EUS or EU. The reason for that is because they don't share those overlapping numbers. Oh, King Cookie 95 says, I understood it as the IDs of the players. Oh, so if you merge them, the items would suddenly be bound to another character. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, so there's something overlapping, basically, is what we know. Right? And so that's why characters in the EU bundle on the EU servers cannot transfer to the US servers, and characters on the US servers cannot transfer to the EU servers. So that's the current state of play. They definitely, SSG, they have a definite interest in like fixing that. And apparently it was so funny because I did end up watching the video. So here's the thing, as I was away, I wasn't at my computer on Friday. So I read the article that Druidsfire wrote first. Well, actually, I read some synopsises that various people wrote up. And then I read the article that Druidsfire wrote up where she kind of covered the whole thing, which was really helpful. And then I went and watched the video. And she had said, like, in her write-up, something about how Severlin seemed, he mentioned it a few times, like, that he really wanted them to resolve this code problem. And so that way EU and US could transfer willy-nilly, but they weren't able to do that. And so he seemed pretty disappointed about that, because that seems like it was a definite goal of his. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it resolved in the future if they're close to getting it done. Yeah, so we'll see if that happens. But anyway, okay, so currently over on the US side, there's Arkenstone, Gladden, Brandywine, Landreval, and Crick Hollow. These are not in alphabetical order, sorry, y'all. And then over on the EU side, we've got Evernight, Laurelin, excuse me, Belliger, Cyranon, or Cyranon, and Gwaihir. Apparently, I'm pronouncing names, and a lot of us are pronouncing names differently than some others. So, for example, I said Severlin, and apparently it's Severlin. I had no idea. We all been pronouncing his name wrong. So I will endeavor to correct myself on that. So Severlin. Anywho, the servers are going to stay open for now, but the 32-bit ones, the current servers, but they're going to open the 64-bit servers. He said he'd be surprised if they weren't open before the beginning of March. So, I mean, this sounds like February to me. So I'm going to guess middle to end of February, the 64-bit servers are going to open up, and we're going to have a land rush as people zoom over there to like reserve their character names and transfer the characters and get the addresses they want in the housing developments, like for example around here, you know, in the gorgeous area of Lindleby where I'm hanging out. I love the Lindleby houses. I'm very happy here. Lost points out that the new LI track is mid-February, which, yes, is why I'm here. In 28 days and 22 hours, the new LI track resets. So, man, wouldn't that be ideal if the excuse me, if the moving happened around that same time? I mean, I could see them kind of trying for it, you know what I mean? Be like near the beginning or the end of, one or the other track, because that would make sense. 'Cause like, what is today again? Today is the 14th. Oh gosh, that means it's like middle of the month. I'll bet the new LI track, yes, and Lost Shire Hobbit does point out that progress on LI tracks does not carry over. So, and this is kind of the way it's always been so far with these LI retoward tracks, is that the track is server specific, not characters. And because the servers aren't going away, then the LI track is still progressing on that server. So when your character leaves, all the LI reward progress, the track progress that you have made up to that point, stays with the server, does not follow the character. So yes, be prepared for that. Thank you, Lost Shire, for the reminder on that. So, so for the folks on the U.S. side, the servers that will be opening are Mordor and England is already open, are Peregrine and Glamdring. Well, Shire was making notes. Awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. We're all like sharing information, right? Trying to make sure we're all caught up and that nobody's going to be left behind. So yeah, so on the US side, the two are Glamdring and Peregrine, and Glamdring is the regular server and Peregrine is the roleplay encourage server. On the EU side, we're going to have Orcrist and Meriadoc. So Orcrist for the regular server and Meriadoc for the roleplay encourage server. So I will probably send most of my people to Meriadoc, but I definitely will send some people to Orcrist. Like I've got some folks on Evernight. Oh, you're the key note taker for Aubrey the Weird One's Discord. Nice, Lost Shire. That's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate note takers. Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciated various people putting together their synopses of the conversation so far, because that's been really helpful, for me to just be like, okay, boom, here's the information I'm looking for. There we go. I'm like, I know, speaking of information I'm looking for, I'm going to pull my hair back a little bit. So over the weekend, I was busy with some other things, but I was like, okay, I got to start prepping here. So speaking of notes, I made a whole series of notes here. What I want to do is I want to make a series of short videos about how to transfer characters, because I know there's people who haven't done it in a while or never did it, or, various things. And, it's a source of stress. And if we're all going to do this together, let's make this less stressful. And if there's a whole lot of us doing it, let's just, put some guides out there and help each other out. So my thinking is I'll do one video which kind of just goes over, like, here's the basic process, right? So, yeah, here's where you click, here's what the window looks like, those sorts of things. Here's the information that we know. And then do a couple of videos, like a general overview, of how transfers work, character, shared storage, wardrobe, all of those things. And then do a prep process video, because I know everybody's doing it kind of their own way, absolutely. And just kind of share what I'm doing to prepare, like spreadsheets and whatnot. And what kinds of information I'm documenting, so I can work on making the decisions on which characters are going where and why and that sort of thing. And then do a video of me actually transferring characters. And what I might do is do that live, like, a live stream like this, and then try to keep it short for the first part, and then just post that immediately. Do that on the day that we're doing transfers, so people can like follow along at home, kind of thing. So those are some thoughts I have. Before, and I have also talked about plugins, because perhaps you are like we are, where we just named our characters the same on the various servers that we're on. So I have like a Rosenbloom and an Adamantia on basically every server. I mean, I've gone through, I have characters on, I started on the US, Brandywine, Gladden, Landreval, and Crick Hollow. I've done those. Oh, and I did Evernight, and I got started on Lorelyn. So I have Adamantias out of those 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one of the servers doesn't have an Adamantia. So I have, well, even if we just take the US, I've got 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 Adamantias out of the US servers that are going to 2 servers, right? So one of my Adamantias is going to go away or get renamed or whatever I decide to do with her. Now, I looked at it, 18 character slots per server. You can have up to like 50 if you've bought everything and gotten all these expansions and all these different things. But I'm at 18 because I haven't really been focusing on that because I've had characters spread out. I haven't had them centralized. So out of that, I've got in the US 13 characters. So I can easily fit them all on one server, but I'll split them across the 2. So I'll go from Brandy, Gladden, Landreval, and Crick Hollow. From those 4 servers, I'll spread them out to the 2 servers, and some will go to the roleplay server. Probably, basically, all my Landreval characters will probably go to the roleplay server. I just have to figure out who's actually going to Glamdring, because like if I was going to do any questing, who would be my questing characters, you know, over there. And then yeah, Escagosi says same. I have a Malo on 3 servers exactly. Loshire is I'm going down to 3 to 4 characters. Main server has 4, seconds will have 3. That seems fair. I got kind of attached to my characters. So, and some of my original characters are over on Landreval right now. So that's why I think I will probably just take them to Peregrine and let them hang out in the music community, because I think that's where the music community is going to be anyway. So I think that works for me. And then figuring out who's going to be questing on between Orcrist and Meriadoc. That'll be the harder one because, well, no, probably not. Okay, I think most of my Evernight characters are kind of questy. So I'll probably send my Evernight characters to Orcrist and then figure it out from there, I guess. The nice thing is we do have time to figure out, like if we send somebody somewhere and then like you have a little bit of server regret and you want to send them to the other one instead, they said they're going to allow free transfers to the other one for a little while. So that's really nice. So you get some little, buyer's remorse. You can try the other one instead. King Cookie says, I am honestly pretty happy that I just have my one character that I need to transfer. Oh, that's nice. Could never get myself to make another one. Always felt like one would end up neglected and sad. It's funny. I ended up making alts because I wanted characters to hold things, but then I'd played them and then I get attached to them, and yeah. And then I'd end up playing on a different server for various reasons. And so I was like, oh, okay, then I'll just make the same character. At first I was making different characters, but then I was like, I'll just make the same character over there and then I don't have to think about it. So yeah, that's been a thing. Loshire says my biggest issue is going to be housing. Oh, in what way? I'm curious because housing is a large topic, So my plan is to end up with sending my characters to all 4 of the servers. So now here's a fun little twist, and I was not anticipating, is they have said that Treebeard's numbers dropped dramatically when Mordor and Angmar opened. So, yeah. Fair enough, whatever. And let me do this real quick. Creepy skins. Let's get rid of some of these real quick. Other side, keep skins. Do some task board real quick and get some LI experience. Yeah, in case you weren't aware, if you are turning in tasks that give LI experience, it can go really nice. Here, so let me put this up where you guys can see it nicely. And then I'll turn in the next one. Watch that little purple bar jump. Boom. Nice, huh? What did we say? We have skins, right? Oh, is this the... Yeah, that's the thing. We don't need to worry about that. Keep skin. Okay. And one down here. I just keep going back and forth between guards and miners. I don't mind. And that should be 6. And she's done for the day. Hooray. Look at that. We're in the next box. Woot woot. So Loshire says, trying to get the houses I want. Yeah. Not too worried about addresses, but more the type of housing as ones I have fit the lore for my characters. Oh, that's nice. I will say there's one house that I really want. I don't and it's in this neighborhood in the Lindleby Homesteads. There's one house that I really like having. But after that, yeah, because I've started tracking which houses I have and what the addresses are. So the kinship that I'm with here on Lorelin for my hobbits, I like having a house in the kin neighborhood, but I find that I don't go there very often anymore. So if the neighborhood ended up full, I'd still have my travel to kin house transit. So I think that would be okay. I think I would be fine with that. Here, while we're chatting, let me send myself off to, no, that's not where I want to go. I want to go to Rivendell. So yeah, so if I don't end up with a house, because we'll have the Shire neighborhood again, and I love the Shire neighborhood, so I'll definitely get another Shire house, for sure. It doesn't have to be in the primary kin neighborhood. It can be in the secondary one, whatever. I'm fine with that. My premium house is the one that I really like a lot. Here, let me pause a second. I have on the server, you want to talk about houses. Let's see. That's my deluxe house in the Shire Homesteads. Then I have, the kinship house for this kin. My elf is in a different kin. It's okay. But then I have a Belfast house at One Windy Lane, which I quite like, actually. And I would like to get another Belfast house, but it doesn't have to be that one. I'm at One Wellforth Way in Frondy. Sorry, in Lindleby Homesteads. And I also have 3 Floodside Road in Lindleby Homesteads, and I like both of those. And then I also have 7 Ridge Road off in Rohan. I have actually been considering giving up my Rohan house. So I'm already kind of like that. I can pare that one back. That's not a big deal. I do like having a Belfast house. Oh, we have 442 of these tokens. We should spend a few of them. What do you think, Kato? What should we get? Oh, baby. Oh, she's gonna jump down. Okay, bye, honey. Short little trip by Kato. Let's get a bog lurker buddy also. And then, hang on, let's put those in here. There's a question in the chat. Hi, Thrutter says, anyone know if they have yet announced a date for the new servers to go live? I have not seen anything. So I'm going to guess no. I mean, they just talked about it on Friday. So I'm going to guess that it's, they don't have a date yet. He did say he'd be surprised. Severlin said he would be surprised if it wasn't done before the end, before the beginning of March. Excuse me. Sorry. So that would be my guess is February. I think we're all expecting it to happen in February. So, which is cool. Gives us like a month to prepare. I've gone ahead and started preparing though because that month is going to come fast. And it's also possible it would be sooner than a month, you know what I mean? So I want to be ready. All right, we're going to talk to Elrond, and we're going to do this further adventures of Elladan and Elra here. So we'll start with that. So we're going to talk with Elrond first, and then, oopsie, I'm going to actually run around the column. And then one of the boys is standing out here. And we are going to go traveling with these guys. King Cookie says the writer's block shield is the cosmetic one I use on basically every one of my casual outfits. It's so cute, isn't it? I do think it's a clever idea that they've got some of these cosmetics you can get through these further adventures, and then also through the Bingo Boffin stuff. I love the Bingo Boffin storyline stuff. So cute. Excuse me. Let me get a drink. I feel as though I may have a little bit of something going on there, so we are drinking tons of tea right now. So Pamela, good to see you. Obviously, you've heard about the server changes. I'm hoping to catch people who might end up in the stream who aren't like in the game or haven't been keeping up on the news, because it's kind of important stuff. Yes, Pamela says, best to prepare ahead of time, plus you have acquired a goodly collection of fine things. Indeed. Yeah, I know a lot of people are have been purchasing housing carryalls. Pardon me. Goodness. It catches me quickly. I would mute if I was faster on the clicking, but I'm not. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, King Cookie, that is a reason to have alts. King Cookie says, I'd like to have way more of the bingo things. Sadly, you can only run them once. I know. I wish you could do more bingo stuff for more bingo tokens. Now, there's a little more bingo storyline that they added in a couple other places, but I can't remember if you get bingo tokens. I think you get other things, don't you, for that, not bingo tokens. It's been a while since I've taken a look at that stuff, actually. But if you go up to Yondershire, for sure there's some more bingo time that you can get up there, which is pretty awesome. All right, trying to gather everything. Maybe I pushed the wrong button. There we go. Waha, got all the things. All right, we're trying to make our way to Elra here without, like, collecting all the creatures of the forest. Yeah, that's what I was probably thinking of too, King Cookie. The Fall Festival bingo quest, but yes, as you are correct in saying that they don't have bingo tokens. They have festival tokens, which, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been going through and checking the wallets on some of my characters, because I'm like, you know, what all has this character got in her wallet? Anything of note? Some of my characters, I forgot I did a ton of festival with them, and they have a lot of festival tokens. Boy, fly, we're done with you. Casper's back. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Hey, sweet boy. Aww. Loshire plans to use character inventories to store housing. Yeah. So one character will have one house and the housing storage, one will have another, and two will have the meat hall. That makes sense. But you're presupposing that those characters don't already have full inventories and vaults. Like, this character can't carry much else. Yeah. Tellurian says, yes, you can run bingo on multiple characters if you, even if you collect all the cosmetic packs, you'll have the leftover tokens to acquire some more stuff. But Tellurian, the problem is King Cookie only has one character. So, you know, one and done. It's so sad. Pamela asks, where's the guide that tells you the cap for the wallet items? I think maybe there's a guide, but I know if you just look in the wallet, like it'll show me. So like Breland Woodmarks, here it says I have 177 out of 500. So it does tell me there what my cap is. Like Midsummer tokens, there's a cap of 250, but the other ones don't have caps listed because they don't have caps. The one thing I'm going to have to be careful about, and I will mention this, I'll try to mention this every stream, is the Embers, Figments, Motes of Enchantment. Those have a cap of 10,000, and I'm pretty sure when you hit those caps, it just hits the cap. You're out of luck. Other ones like Ancient Script, if you combine a bunch of stuff, because it's server wide, I think it still goes over cap, like it overfills it. But Embers and Figments and Motes, those will not. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So go spend your Figments of Splendor while you can. So, yeah. Tillarian says, I realized that when I did the last transfer, there was no premium houses, and I did not own premium houses on Anor Ithil or Shadowfax. That'll change some of the stuff you have to pay attention to, for sure. Loshire says, 2 characters are re-rolled characters, so inventories are largely empty. Oh, and one has a housing carry-all. Well, you'll be fine. Yeah, I got a lot of inventory to deal with. What I may end up doing is asking before to help me out with my inventory before some of the transfers happens, because he's really good at that sort of thing. But yeah, I think a couple of carry-alls might be in order. I'm hoping they'll do some more carry-all sales, you know, before they open the new servers. It did occur to me though that, you know, I do have quite a few like crafting carry-alls. No, I don't want to shoot those guys. I want to shoot these guys. And so once I consolidate some of those characters, you know, like the crafting carry-all on, where was it? On like Evernight, and the crafting carry-all, well, I guess, yeah, maybe on like Laurelin. Like, I don't know. I'll be able to consolidate. Like my US stuff, I think I'll be able to consolidate. So like I've got stuff on Crick Hollow. I'm not sure if I have any on Brandy. I probably don't. But Landerval I do. Crick Hollow I probably do. So I've got 3 servers worth of carry-alls. So I'll be able to consolidate a lot of the crafting stuff. So that'll be nice. But then I'll have, you know, more housing stuff. So it's just going to be complicated, isn't it, really? It's going to be complicated. Tillarian said they could add a shop item that would allow you to do a bingo quest reset so you could redo them. That would be really nice. That's a great suggestion. You should put that in the forums. Just be careful. People kind of get a little angry sometimes over there. I posted a suggestion in the forums. I should post a link for y'all in case you want to go check it out. Suggesting like some memorial gardens, basically. And I put more words in the forums with that information. And one person got really upset about the idea. And I was like, oh, who hurt you? It was a bit of that kind of a feeling, like, yeah, it definitely felt like, oh boy, some people have been really mean to this person, and I am sorry that you have experienced that in LOTRO. Ah, here we go. A matron no less. I'll follow your lead. Thanks. No, after you. I agree with you, Egg Arthur, but it's possible that it still does. All right, we're going to go talk to Gwei here. So that's pretty neat. Hi. We get to talk to one of the great wing lords, the great eagles. All right. He had some information for us, and but he was like, I'm not going to get involved in this thing going on down here with these fire-breathing guys. I shall take my leave. Good fortune on your travels. And when you do these, remember to click on the mission reward box to get some of your tokens. And then click on the guys to let you out. All right, Casper. You gonna come lay down, bud? Hey, sweet boy. Yeah. Hi. All right. So I'm not reading through these for you. One, because I've read these for you before. And two, because it's more fun if you read it yourselves. And three, the less I talk, the less annoying my chest feels really. Yaw. Casper has just curled up here against me. Very sweet. Yeah. Very sweet boy. Yes, so before I was talking about ancient script, and yeah, at this point, if you disenchant something and all that, you do lose any extra ancient script. However, it's possible that server transfer overflow of ancient script is still happening.
You're told that you can't disenchant it because...
Oh yeah, you can't disenchant it because it will overflow. Yeah, right. Megan says, hi, I love your sweater. Thank you. I didn't make this one, but I do enjoy it. It's pretty comfortable, and it's warm, so it's one of my go-tos, especially when I'm around the house and it's chilly and whatnot. And it's been chilly around here lately. It was like -1, -2 today. Celsius, it is. So I am grateful that we are not in like the Nordic areas where they're talking about, -1, -2 Fahrenheit. I mean, not that they would use Fahrenheit, but I mean, like, that's the temperature. Sweater's looking good, says Pamela. Thanks. So, how are you doing today, Megan? Hopefully all is good in your world as well. So, I know a lot of people were nervous and looking for more information about the server transfers, but I think a lot of people are starting to calm down, I hope. I think there's still some anxiety out there. I see it. But I'm, oh, Megan, you have a kidney stone. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I have not personally, as far as I know, had kidney stones, but I definitely have known people who've had them. It's one of the first things as a child, I knew about, because my dad had a kidney stone when I was a kid, and like, I can't remember why, but so we had a house and we had some roommates and stuff, and he ended up moving into one of the roommates' room. Like, they swapped rooms while my dad had the kidney stone. Excuse me, I'm trying to remember why. I think it had to do with proximity to the nearest bathroom. But I remember my dad was in quite a bit of agony, so I do not wish that sort of thing on anybody. Not even a worst enemy. Well, probably not a worst enemy. Boy, howdy, it hurts. Well, good luck with that. I'm guessing lots of liquids right now for you. That sounds. King Cookie says, a friend of mine is pretty worried and stressed because she has to move 5 characters and 4 houses over. Is she moving everything to the same server? Or is she going to divide things up? So, Dame Hypatia, hi-ho to you too. We are, of course, talking about the upcoming server transfers and everything. That seems to be definitely what's on everybody's mind, and I understand that. It's on my mind every day. I'm actively preparing. Yeah, and so before and I have been kind of busy the last 5 days or so, and it's not going to slow down for a couple of days. But then after that, we will hopefully get these videos put together, and maybe that will help allay some anxiety for anybody who's feeling a desire to watch some of that. Yeah. For example, Megan asking about how do transfers work for houses. Well, you put the house in a little box. No, I'm kidding. Well, kind of, I guess. Yeah, and Egg Arthur does point out that the World Transfer Guide on LOTRO.com is in need of a refresh, especially in light of the free transfers, Dark World transfers, name reservation process, and so forth. I don't think they're going to update it just because of the name reservation process, because I think this is a one-time deal. Yeah, Megan, I can't imagine all items. King Cookie says, yeah, everything is going to Meriadoc with us. Very nice. Well, that does make it easier if you just have, you're just planning to basically pick up everything and then take it all to the same place. That kind of makes it a little easier. So, yes, as King Cookie points out, you get the writs for the houses, so premium houses. So, Megan, regular houses. Yeah, yeah. Before says, I'm impressed you're playing with Casper under your arm. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm leaning a little funny, because there is a cat like literally right here. He's sweet. Aw. Now he's just getting himself a little more comfortable. So I'm kind of like working around him. Kato would like a spot? Oh, goodness. Hi, honey. Let me see what I can do. Amara Wen says hi. Hi. All right, so hold on. Stay. What? Really? Now you're going to think about moving? You can just stay right there, bud. I'm just creating space for Kato. Okay. We were, away this weekend, and since we got back, they are a bit more clingy. Oh, that's the cat sitting on my keyboard. Yes, elves do these lovely dances and jumps and stuff, but that was unintentional. And yeah, they've been a little extra clingy since we got back. It also is cold, though, so, I understand that. You coming? All right, so Casper's left. Now Kato's thinking about it. Hey, Arwin says, I'm already packed all my stuff, ready to move to the new server. I think you're a little early. I think you probably have about a month, is my guess, is how this is going to work. Oh, anyway, so houses. So your regular house, excuse me, let me turn this down a little. You won't get any of the money back that you have spent to purchase it, or any of the upkeep that you may have paid in advance. So I would say if you have, I wouldn't pay any upkeep right now past I would say mid-February and then maybe just pay it week by week for a little while. Because I would guess come March, we're going to be, if you're moving. Oh, honey, you can't have that. I need this. Thankfully you don't have as much as others do. Well, that's nice. Yeah, that's part. So it's interesting looking at my characters, because like I said, I've been kind of doing a little bit of character inventory. Just how many characters do I have? What houses do I have? What servers am I on? All that. And you can kind of see the progression of when I got better at inventory management. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure what this says. This says, help me. Where's he at? Oh, there he is. Hey, Eladan. No, the problem with this character is she's holding a lot of legendary item, runes and stuff, and I haven't gotten around to going to spend them. I wonder if I need to, does she need better stuff? Does she need stuff? No, I don't know. No, I think she's good. Yeah. It's possible that Rosenbloom might need stuff, but maybe not. I don't even know. So that's part of the problem, is that's why I have so much stuff with this character, is because I don't need any more ancient script, and I don't need to upgrade the legendary items, stuff like that. Marwin says I have way too much Christmas stuff, though. So, yeah, so some of my characters, I today went over to grab my Wenda bauble, my VIP bauble, this little darling that gives me access to all of this stuff while I'm running around, and also has the, where'd it go? The little jug that you chug. This is a subscriber's jug, right? Pretty sure I took that, but we'll just do that again just to make sure. Anyway, I went to do that yesterday on one of my Evernight characters, and her inventory was so full, I couldn't pick up the Wenda stuff yet. Oh, you guys are all loving this sweater. That is wild. Um, Thank you. I purchased it at like our local, I wouldn't say dollar store, but it's not your high quality store kind of place, and it drives my sweetie nuts because so we both knit. Um, and this so when you knit, one side has the cute little V's that most people are used to, and the other side has little bumpies, and that's just how it works. That's just how the stitches is created. So this one has the little V's, but they're on the inside. I don't know if you can see it very well. And the bumpies are on the outside. And it's not a style that he particularly is fond of. So there was a time when I would wear it just to kind of annoy him. Also because it is warm. I mean, it's acrylic, so like it just retains all the heat. So if you are not looking for like any heat management, it's great. And right now I'm just cold. I've been cold recently, so I'm like, yeah, just all the heat inside is great. Yes, the knits and the pearls, Megan, you are correct. Well, but if you don't knit, you don't know what knits and pearls are, right? So it's like, V's and bumpies. People might have an idea what that looks like. Yeah. Speaking of, I have a whole bunch of crafting projects I'm hoping to get back to soon. We've been preoccupied with like a community project that we've been working on, and that has been really super awesome. But it has kept me from working on a lot of my own projects. And let's see, you can see it. So the cabinet here behind me, where the light's not on, because if that's light on, it's really bright on the screen. So yeah, that wooden cabinet there behind me, it's actually an IKEA cabinet. The part with the windows has board games. And then the part that's not windows is all yarn. And then I ended up with too much yarn to fit in there. So there's also a bookshelf over here with yarn throughout the bookshelf. And then that is over full, so now there's yarn on top of the bookshelf. It's like, I really would like to make things with all the yarn that I have there. So I just need to take the time to do it. So Dame Hypatia says, if you do it that way at the sole of socks, the pearls on the outside, it's called princess soles. At least I heard the term used. How cute! I haven't yet been brave enough to try to make socks. Well, except for, I just tidied it up. For like a Christmas dinner that we did at a place where we volunteer, I made some cute little miniature socks, like little stockings basically, and they were extremely colorful. And like each row was a whole different stitch. Sometimes there were some zigzags, and it was all crochet. It wasn't knitted. There were some like little popcorn bubbles, and it was a lot of fun. But I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, I've constructed socks now. So I guess technically I've constructed socks once. But I'm not sure if I'm ready to make socks. Although I guess I'm probably pretty close to it. I think part of the reason why I'm resistant to it is because I'm kind of particular about the way my socks feel. And I don't want to make socks that I don't like. Like if they're too tight or too loose, or they, because, okay, so here's the deal is when I'm walking in shoes, like out and about, I want socks that are basically going to stay still. And I want them to be kind of, have some thickness to them, but I will actually give up thickness in favor of not having seams. Because the seams like make little indents on my skin, and I don't like the way that feels. It's uncomfortable. And the same thing when I'm wearing socks then around the house is I want something that's going to stay on like the bottom of my feet and keep my feet warm. But if it goes up too much on my ankles and on my legs, then it like makes indents on my skin, and that's really uncomfortable. So yeah, I'm kind of particular about my socks. That's what it comes down to. So maybe I will make some socks though, because I do have some fun yarns, and it would be fun to try. I think that's the other thing too, is like I want everything I make to come out perfect and usable and, fit the use case that I'm making it for. And so I don't want to make socks and have them turn out crappy and then I don't use them at all. But you know what? I'd probably still be able to use them for house socks. So it'd probably be fine. I've actually started wearing 2 pairs of socks around the house anyway. Megan says knitting is so much work. I mean, it is, but there's something about it that's also relaxing in a way. For me, it's like, oh, I forgot to pick up the box, didn't I? Oh well, doesn't matter. Yeah, I find it relaxing. It's just, I spend a lot of time trying to come up with like the ideal project for the yarn and the yarn for the project, like, just making that match be exactly right. And then once I've done that, I can go forward. So I spend a lot of time deciding what project I'm going to do. That takes a while. So what I like to do is I try to pick the project I'm going to make next while I'm still finishing up the previous one. That way I don't have that downtime. Because I have noticed that sometimes when I don't have something to work on, I get a little fidgety at times. It's really helped to kind of like give me a place to be not so fidgety, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Dame Hypatia, exactly. Knitting is my yoga, so relaxing. Yeah, and I think I should probably work on trying to schedule more regular knitting times in my life. Part of a problem I'm running into right now, and why the blanket project's been okay to keep me distracted, is I have a shirt, well, a sweater that I'm working on, top down. And it's very lightweight. It's one of the manufactured fibers, right? Like a plant fiber. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, I'm working on that, but so what I really would like to do is learn how to modify patterns to fit like me. And because like if I'm custom making it, I should be able to do that, right? So I'm short. It came up this weekend actually. We were joking about how I'm kind of Hobbit sized. Not completely, but it's not that far from the truth. So the space between like my shoulder, like to the armpit, or the torso, the top of the torso area in there is like this area is not like some people have longer versions of that. And I think I have a shorter version of that than your average. So when I just make a thing that's going to fit me around, it's too long up in the top part. And so now that I figured that out, I'm like, okay, how do I decrease the number of stitches I need here, but still get out far enough as what I need? So the one idea is that you just kind of like do your increases faster, so you make your way this way faster. So I was trying to do that with the sweater that I'm working on. And then I made some weirdo mistake, because that's what happens. I'm still new at this. And I had to back it out about an inch or so. Which, for you knitters out there, I'm working with like 3.5, maybe 3.25 size needles to make a sweater. So, I'm working with some pretty thin yarn. I'm not doing a big bulky sweater like this one. Yeah, so an inch, having to back out an inch was actually quite a bit of time that was unwound. And unfortunately, in going backward, then I had reduced, like I had made it go faster. I had skipped some lanes in it basically. And then I couldn't remember where those were, and I didn't count going backwards. I just undid it. And so anyway, so now I'm not really sure. I'm not 100% sure where I need to go next in the pattern and how many more rows I need to do before I start on the sleeves. So yeah, I've kind of like created a little challenge for myself. So that's another reason why it's just been sitting aside and waiting for me. Here, I'll pull it out and show it to you real quick. Let's see. Megan says I made a really pretty fair IL pattern bag one year. So much work. Then I felted the wool and it shrunk. Oh no. All that work just to be wonky. I haven't had the I have not dared to try that yet. So this is the sweater. It comes across a little funky in colors on screen, but on the stream there. But it's like, I think this is the front, this is the back. I think that's right. So it's like that, and then I'm not yet to the sleeves. Like, and then you do an extra collar. So the collar is a little wide right now. This is the collar. But then you come back and you do some color. It's really a lot of pinks and then green. Here, let me show you the back. Maybe the colors come across a little better. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, on my screen it looks just kind of dingy, but it's actually a lot of really like soft pink in the in between, and then the green coming through there. So it's like a pink and a white and a green and like actually kind of a touch of lavender in there. So it's a lot of really soft colors. So that's coming from this. And it's doing the color changes itself. So that's really, I love that. I always have fun with that sort of thing. And then when you make the stripes, you do it with the accent color. So I've done kind of the opposite, where I've done basically like the color changing is the main color and the solid is the accent color is how I'm doing it, which is kind of fun. So, oh, Dame Hypatia has some book recommendations. Yes, if you want to adapt patterns. Vintage Design Workshop. They show all kinds of collars, sleeve designs, pleats, cuffs, how to work, how to change sizes. Oh, that's really cool. I may have to look into that one. Thank you. Hey, guys. Oh, is he talking? Nobody's talking. Did I take too long? Let's see. Hey. Confront the warg pack leader. Do I need to walk up to you? Here, let me try walking. There we go. It worked. Excuse me. Yeah, Dame Hypatia, I'm amazed when people knit sweaters, finish them, and they fit. I'll stick to socks. I did make a sweater, and I wanted it to be cotton because I like the feeling of wearing cotton in general. And so that worked out pretty good. But it has some wonkiness. Now, it's the very first sweater I've made. And it was like, I don't know, my third or fourth like knitting project. So, I mean, it's early in my knitting journey. But overall, it worked out. And it gave me a lot of knowledge about like how to work with knitting. And I had a lot of practice with, because I was knitting in the round, so I got a lot of practice with knitting. So that was good. Yeah, I've really appreciated just like having the chance to, I don't know, practice something over and over and over, and yet still come up with something that, you know, is useful and wearable. So I wear it around the house. I wear it outside once in a while, but it looks janky to me, you know. So, oh, can you post a link of a picture of the bag you made? Can you do that, honey? Can you give permission? I think he knows how to do this. He just had to do this on his stream, I think like last week or the week before. There you go. All right, let's see. Hang on, let me pull it up. Open Earl. Oh, that's so pretty though. Love those colors. That blue is so nice. Wow. That's pretty. Nice work, by the way. Yeah, fun experiment. Yeah, yeah. The shape isn't very nice. Yeah, it's a bummer. Time passes. I am curious with the server consolidation. I just thought about this earlier today. How the different world chats kind of have a little bit of a different kind of flavor to them. So, how's that going to work? Because some world chat people are a little more aggressive. All right, over here and arrow down, arrow down. The boys. Boys are done. We'll take crafting materials. Sure. Oops. I cannot get on my mount and ride out of Elrond's house. Okay, fair enough. I suppose that's reasonable. Oh yeah, and if you want things to shrink, they don't, right? Yeah, like the cotton thing I made, it's too big. That's part of it. Yeah, so it wouldn't be amiss if it shrank, but it's doing the opposite, which is fine. That's what I expected cotton to do, which is to grow. It's like, well, oops, that's a thing. All right, my phone's got a lot going on here, so let's quiet that business. There we go. All right, so we're just going to keep going. So the reason I'm doing these further adventures is because they do a great job for this reward track. Like we were down here earlier today, right? And now we're all the way up here. So I'm trying to get to this incomparable coffer of the cozy den. And then 50 is blonde corgi, cosmetic pet. 75 is an outdoor market, which I'm really curious about. I should just go look it up, but I'm curious about it. And then 100 is the parrot. So I really want to get to 75 at a minimum, if I can, on this server. So we'll see. We'll see if I can make it. So another corgi. Yeah, I don't, like, the corgi, I'm like, I could take it or leave it. It's cute. But I just want more cats. But they have given us quite a good selection of cats currently. Let me see, like, in our pets. Cat. Yeah, we've got like 4, 8, 12, 13 cats at the moment. Oh, that doesn't count. That's a magpie. How did you get cat out of magpie? Limited time availability in travelers and adventurers loot boxes. Yeah, but that's still a bird. That is most definitely not a cat. Oh, sophisticated magpie. Okay, fine. So I better double check. Oh yeah, we have also a sophisticated chaffage. Okay, so we don't have 13 cats. We have 11. That's fine. Look at that ghostly cat. It's not fun. The cozy gray cat. I also have the cats for the house, too. Yeah, So when Anor closed, there were things that I had gotten there that you can only get on legendary servers. And so we had made a real effort to go after and get some of those things. And some of those housing items. And I was very happy with what I got. And then I was like, okay, I got a package of things that I'm going to send over to Evernight. I have these. I'm going to send them to Laurelin. I have these. I'm going to send, so to Landreval. I think those are the 3 servers where I sent the housing items that I had acquired on the legendary servers. So some of those I never even unpacked, as it were. They're still sitting in the character's vault. So I'm going to have to decide, like, where is all that going to go? Or maybe I just don't decide. I just send it and deal with it and call it good. I don't know. Yeah. Like, the way I have my houses set up here, I'm pretty happy with. So I may try to recreate those in terms of the insides. The house that I have, the Belfalas house that I have on Landreval, I have some wallpaper on that I don't recognize. I don't use very often. And I put like brown behind it and it looks really good. So I'm going to have to make sure. I think that's going to have to be a whole nother spreadsheet of like writing down very specific things I've done and that I want to replicate. Oh, we still got plenty. Oh, this is the writer's block shield that. Who was talking about that earlier? King Cookie was talking about that earlier. Isn't that a great shield? So much fun. It's so cute. Okay. Megan says, "Are we getting a festival soon?" No. Let's see. We just had Yule Festival that just finished up. I know the calendar's not out yet, but I think the next one is spring and or anniversary. Spring. Spring comes first. Spring is in March. Anniversary is in April. And they kind of like land one right after the other, it feels like. Oh, actually, you know what? I can use Before tool because we have had this debate numerous times, but in the deed tracker, if you are looking at race and social, the festivals are listed in here in order. He starts them with the anniversary event because from that perspective, that's when LOTRO started. So we're celebrating from the anniversary and that's when the year starts. I prefer we start on a calendar basis. And so after we get into January, the first festival to begin would be the Spring Festival. So anyway, so anniversary, so these are them in order. Midsummer, Farmer's Fair, Harvest, Durance Day, Yule Festival, Spring Festival. So Spring Festival is the next one coming up. And King Cookie points out that last year it was from the 13th of March to the 9th of April. So Megan, our next one will be spring, and it'll probably be on the new servers if we are, if you're one of those people who's moving. I'm kind of going with the assumption that anybody who's moving is planning to do it when the server is open, because, I mean, what's the point of waiting? I'm not sure what's the point of waiting. You're going to get better performance. You're going to get consolidation. You're going to have the houses, if you want any particular neighborhood, or if you're trying to group anybody together, you'll want to do that as soon as you can. The biggest downside I think I see, and this comes from the thought I was having earlier, especially after the poor person on the forums responded to the post I put out there. Oh yeah, I was going to show you all the post. That way if you wanted to respond, you can do so also. Let's see. Is there a way to... Yeah, I just want to link to it. Can you do that, honey? Sorry, I'm distracted by the boars. Yeah, if you can link in the chat, that'd be great, hon. So yeah, so I posted a thought I had on the forums earlier, and one person did not respond with happiness and joy, and it reminded me of the experience I had on one of the servers when I first started, and I realized that I was not enjoying it. And people were like, well, there's other servers and we have all this great time over here and everybody's so kind and welcoming. And I was like, that's not the experience I'm having. So I went to other servers and I found that I really enjoyed, myself. Now, I will admit that here on Laurelin, occasionally the world chat does get a little spicy. And I am luckily insulated from that in that I spent most of my time hanging out with my kin or streaming, in which case I'm also not running around talking in world chat. So I don't end up having to, spend a lot of time looking at that. But for the most part, really, the folks on Laurelin, even if they are spicy, they care about each other, right? So there's still that. And when things get a little heated, there's usually people going, okay, everybody calm down, bring it back. You know what I mean? People are trying to look out for each other in general on most of the servers that I'm on. I would say that applies for Laurelin and Landreval and Treebeard and, Anor, it did. Mordor gets a little spicy sometimes, but nothing really out of control that I've seen. A little more spicy than I was used to, but that's okay. So, I'm curious to see how all these different world chat cultures, when they come together, what that's going to look like. So that may be one downside of all of this is that, we've all kind of gotten used to our little pockets of the world, and now we're going to have to like all come together, and it may be a loud party. Oh, lynxes. I just read something on the BBC. It's one of the English language news sites around here, so I end up reading BBC more than other things sometimes, because I don't speak Dutch well enough to read necessarily all the Dutch news in Dutch. But anyway, they were saying there are some lynxes. Excuse me. People are trying to reintroduce lynxes to like the Highlands in Scotland, I guess. Then it would be because I think they said Highlands. And some people are kind of like just going rogue and doing it themselves. But it seems like somebody had like 4 lynxes that might have been used to being around humans, like maybe where they were raised by humans, and then were released, is what it seems like might have happened. And so these 4 lynxes are out running around, but they're not used to hunting, and apparently it was really cold, and it was just not. It was a harsh environment to release them into, or for whatever reason they were in that environment, and it was not a happy environment. So thankfully they have been captured and are being treated at the zoo, but sadly one of them did not make it, and it looks like they had been starving, like they didn't know how to hunt maybe on their own. So, yummer. But so I was seeing lynxes in here because I think they're just adorable. I love lynxes. I think they're super cute. Yeah, Willy Billy Silly says Brandywine is mostly Russian. Well, there's a lot of that too, but then there's a lot of like U.S. like, what are you gonna do about it? Kind of like that like chip on your shoulder, like up in your face kind of attitude. Like, I'm not into that. That's not my jam. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how the different, and will we end up just making a lot of chat channels like that? That's a curiosity I have. Like, will we end up with like Laurelin World? Are we going to do that sort of thing? So we can just kind of have a little bit more of our comfort zone for a little while. I'm going to guess people probably might think about it and then they won't bother. That's my guess, is how it'll go. People will just like blend together pretty fast and it'll be fine. It's just funny to think about it. Yeah, so. And before it says, I would also accept a calendar that begins in March so that September and December are the 7th to 10th months. See? So you could have your calendar begin in March, honey, and then Spring Festival would be the first thing. Anyway, I suggested a Memorial Gardens idea. Oh, and I noticed on the forums today, I probably had learned this previously, but I've forgotten. Over on like the right-hand side, there's this little like uptick where you can vote for the thread, and I think that's a way to kind of get the devs' attention. So if you're reading that and you think it's neato, do a little uptick and see if we can get the devs' attention on it. I also think, so there's another person who started another thread about an idea of a memorial item, like a housing item that you could potentially customize. I thought that was also a really nice idea. So keep an eye out for that one also in the forums. I thought that was also good. So there's a lot of really good ideas happening, which I think is great. Yeah, Nar says, it's the internet, always going to get a little spicy anywhere you go. I know. But, I appreciate that I get to hang out in my little LOTRO bubble of mostly respectful folks, and I like it here. I like it here, and I want to keep it. I want to protect it too. So yes, King Cookie has blocked a few people, but most of them are fine. Exactly. Yeah, I have blocked a few people here and there, but not very many. Actually, I'm kind of curious because show me on ignore. Oh, okay. Apparently, I ignored a bunch of people at one point. Oh, there was some crazy weird stuff happening at like a couple years ago on Laurelin. Like, weird enough that I ended up putting in a ticket. I was like, this is not okay. And yeah, I'm like, yeah. I was like, dudes, like, there's kids who play this game and teenagers and stuff. I was like, we don't need to be, yeah. So anyway, there was a time. I bet most of those people probably don't even have characters. Those characters probably don't even exist anymore, to be honest. Not to worry about it. So Megan says, are the servers merging? And not exactly. Um, I don't know how caught up you are on the details, Megan, but the SSG has announced that they're opening 4 new servers. They're going to be 64-bit servers. The current servers are 32-bit. Um, the Mordor and Angmar servers that they opened, the legendary ones, those are 64-bit servers. And oh, you haven't paid attention to LOTRO news since the holidays. Okay, so yes, so this is what's going on. So they mentioned this in the producer's letter. Did you see that? Or the letter to the players? I guess Orion probably put it together this time. Um, um, let's see if we can get that up so you can take a look at that. Or maybe, I think it's actually letter. Yes, okay. So that's the letter to the players that came out at the middle to end, maybe end of December. But let me just give you the TLDR right now so you can then come back to this and read the letter. That basically they announced that they're going to open 4 new servers. 2, and they're going to be the 64-bit servers. So they're going to get like a lot better performance out of them. There's a lot they can do with them. It'll change some of the ways that they can do things in some fashion. So a lot of opportunity kind of behind the scenes of what SSG is able to do. And so on Friday, this past Friday, on Court of the Rings, so I've been pronouncing his name Severlin, but apparently it's Severlin. So apologies there. He's the executive producer, so he's the one like in charge of all this. And he was on Cord's stream and spent most of the hour just answering questions and giving more details. He spent a good little chunk talking about like just kind of geeking out on all the computer parts about it and stuff. And so so if you want to listen to that, there's there's a good portion of that in the stream too. Oh, you know what? Let me see. Where is it? If you don't want to watch the whole stream or you want to come back to it, over on MMORPG, Druid's Fire did a really nice write up, and it's significant about the stream this past Friday stream. Okay, so the bottom line is that they are opening 4 new servers then, because Angmar and Mordor is going great. They're very happy with that. It sounds like so, and this is a goal they've had for a while. So they're opening the 4 new servers, and there's going to be 2 for the U.S. side, and there's going to be 2 for the EU side. They had hoped that they could remove that EU-US conflict, but unfortunately that has not been able to be resolved. So you still, if you're on a US server, you have to go to US server. If you're on a EU server, you have to go to EU server. Oh, Dame Hypatia says, how do I react to posts in the forums? I rarely use it. Look at the top of the page, first of all, and see if you're logged in. Because if you're logged in, then you can react. If you're not logged in, you cannot. So Megan says, hopefully having so many new servers doesn't make the Angmar Mordor server population drop. Well, so they're not going to be VIP servers. They're regular servers. So what they're going to do is when these servers open, which is going to be in about a month, it's going to be before March, probably, free transfers will be available from all the regular servers. These are regular servers, but they're going to be 64-bit instead of the 32 that we have now. I mean, kind of think of like, you've got your leftover containers in the kitchen. And instead of having a whole bunch of, instead of having 5 small containers to put your stuff in, there's going to be 2 large containers to put all your stuff in. So technically it's not a consolidation because the other servers aren't closing ... yet. he said a couple of times, Severlin did, that they will take a look this fall, probably August, and he said this a couple of times, so I think he's really got August on the brain. They're going to look at things in August and see how the population is on the existing servers. And if those populations are low, they're going to make these servers go dark, as he put it, I think, which basically he explained as the server will exist, you can transfer your characters off, but you can no longer log in. So lots of changes happening there. So the biggest question going on then in a lot of the communities, like, you know, the Hobbit kinships that are here, or the raiding kinships, or the PvMP folks, is, you know, do we stay on our existing server, keep the community that we have, and wait and see, or do we go ahead and transfer everybody to the new servers, have everybody transfer to the new servers once they open, and we go ahead and we get our names and we get the neighborhood that we want, and, you know, those sorts of things. So pretty much, given that it looks like SSG would like us to transfer in the end anyway, that's the direction we're going to be going anyway. So most people are like, well, let's just go ahead and go then. So a lot of the communities, like there's Discord servers that are just going mad right now, where people are trying to coordinate and figure out, okay, well, you know, we're going, where are we going, you know, that sort of thing. So because each one of the pairs, so the EU and the US pairs, they each have a regular server and a roleplay encouraged server. So the RPers will be able to go and continue to hopefully have a good RP experience. And then the raiders and PvMP folks will probably go to the quote unquote normal regular server. And that's the way it sounds like the communities are leaning at this point. So the server names for the US are Glamdring and Peregrine. I'll let you guess which one is which. Did I miss something? I did miss something. Okay. And then the EU versions are Orcrist and Meriadoc. So I think that's pretty fun that they're making the regular servers named after swords, and the role-playing servers are named after hobbits. So that's kind of fun. So pretty much all the Laurelin folks that I hang out with, the role-playing folks, are looking at Meriadoc. So a lot of Laurelinians will be going to Meriadoc. Oh, dude, don't wander off. I'm done with you. Okay. And then it seems like a lot of the music community is considering Peregrine over on Landerval, going from Landerval to Peregrine. I think the Arkenstone PvMPers have mentioned Glamdring, which is the regular server over there. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at on that information. So yes, a lot, Megan. So yes, you have your assignments, as it were, are to read that producer's letter. Dude, why can I not hit you? There we go. Because I'm pushing the wrong button. Probably watch the stream from last Friday, the Court of the Ring stream, and possibly read an article if you want to have somebody just lay it out for you a little bit more detailed. And then maybe check out the forums, because there's a lot of chatter on the forums about it. So, Dame Hypatia, did you get the forums figured out? I mean, you can always you should be able to read the forum without being logged in. No official date yet, question mark. That is correct. It was just on Friday that they had that stream where he talked about a little bit more in detail. So, and he said something like, I would be really surprised if we didn't have them open by March. So given that he didn't say this month, I'm going to guess they're not going to get it done in January. Something about like they're still acquiring the hardware and still getting it installed. Oh, how interesting fact that came out of it is the servers for the US are going to be in Las Vegas. and not near Boston where they are. So that's different because the servers have been, near Boston where SSG is headquartered for quite a while. So, yeah, so that's new. And the EU servers, oops, I got surprised. The EU servers are currently, the current one we have, I guess I should say, is I think Amsterdam. And so they're likely to just have the other two in that same spot. Tellurian asks, do I think the 32-bit servers will move to? Nope, I do not think they will. Now, I mean, it's just my opinion. No, I think what they're going to do is they're going to close them. I think they're going to close the 32-bit servers before the end of the year. This would be my guess. Like if I was, putting money on things, I would say 32 bits are probably closed by the end of the year. And that hardware gets repurposed. And those servers don't exist anymore. That's my guess. Nanar says, I think they really want to have it started by the end of February. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're correct on that. I agree. Just from what, how it looks. And yeah, just going with writing on the wall kind of thing. Like they didn't say they're going to close them all, but they did say they would consider, making them dark and you couldn't log into them anymore. I mean, that's pretty clear. Now there's also Treebeard, which we haven't really talked about yet. Let me talk to this goblin real quick here. I got to listen to his sob story. Ginger says, yeah, the new servers are expected to open before the end of this quarter. And Egg Arthur points out that all servers except Mordor are currently in New Jersey. The new U.S. servers in Las Vegas. New EU servers probably in the same place as Mordor. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, though, because that means Angmar is in New Jersey, right? So B4 points out that it is in their interest to have only to support one architecture, the 64-bit, with the better capabilities and consolidate the player base into fewer servers. Yeah, and Ginger points out that what they said about closing the existing server is that it will depend on the population come this fall. I think I have to look at him and say no. That's so funny. I didn't realize her way of saying no was That's hilarious. Yeah, and King Cookie says, I can see one or two of the older servers staying online and being upgraded to 64-bit. I don't see that happening. But I have very little hope for Laurelin. This is really only the population for, there is really only a population for one role-playing server. Well, I think there's population for two role-playing servers, given that they haven't been able to resolve the US EU stuff. I think if they did, there might have just been one role-playing server, and all the Laurelin folks and all the Landreval folks who like to RP would probably have ended up in the server together. Yeah. I'll bet that that's what they were trying to do, and then they just realized they couldn't do it, and so they'll have to stick with two servers. Because you couldn't do it for one side and not the other side. That would just... There would be an uproar. People would be unhappy. I'm super stoked that we'll get to... that they do have two RP servers. That really makes me happy, because then I can stick with that. I don't have to worry about... Yeah, because I think if they hadn't, there'd be a lot more... contemplation going on about what to do from the role-playing communities. Oh, I like this one. This one has no combat. Egg Arthur points out that in-place upgrades are a pain. The 32-bit servers will most likely stay 32 until they are closed. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah. Before says the distance between Boston and Las Vegas has to add around 20 milliseconds of latency just based on the minimum distance between them and the speed of light and fiber optic cables. So it'll be interesting to see if it's much more than that in practice. We'll see. So Treebeard. He brought up Treebeard, which I was surprised about. But once he started talking about it, it made sense. So here's the Scooby-Doo. That once Mordor and Angmar opened up, a lot of people who were playing on Treebeard found the new shiny over on Mordor and Angmar and have been distracted by that. And I admit that I too, in my free time, was not spending my free time on Treebeard. I was spending it over on Mordor. So yeah, I contributed to that as well. Um, so that meant though that the active population over on Treebeard like plummeted, I would say. That's not a word that he used, but just from being on there and seeing the numbers, it's gone down significantly. Like we would have 150 people on at any given time. And now I rarely see numbers above like, I don't know, 30. I mean, don't quote me on that. I could be totally wrong. But the bottom line is, yeah, Treebeard's numbers are really low right now. And we're at that point where the legendary servers often tend to get that kind of long tail going. Oh, hang on, I gotta pay attention to this. All right, come here, you two. This one requires, like, you gotta get up there and close these gates before new guys show up. Okay. B4 points out that there's 20 non-anonymous people on Treebeard right now. Yeah, see, those are not big numbers. So we have, like, a regular Treebeard group that we play with. And at this point, there's 4 of us that are active in that group. That are active once a week. We play for like, I don't know, 5 hours on the Saturdays together. And the rest of the week we're not on there very much. So Severlin definitely indicated that if those numbers don't change by the fall when they're looking at the other ones, that they may, yeah, there might be something happening with Treebeard too. So that was a little bit of a surprise and a little bit of a disappointment, but I can understand. I get it. I get where he's coming from. You can't really keep a server open. Like, it's hard to justify keeping a server open for, a couple dozen people. As much as I, enjoy it over there. Yeah. So one of the things that we've really liked about Treebeard is the slower experience accumulation, because then we can continue to level in an area, but without over leveling an area. So that's been cool. And the other thing I've really liked about it is that only the next section is open, and we're getting into the areas like we've done Rohan, we're off into Gondor. Like, we're getting into areas where I don't go into as often as, say, like doing the Shire, or doing Bree. Like, I've gone and found those relics or whatever they are of Bree, like, I don't know how many gazillions of times. Like, those deeds, is it a class deed? Race and social deed? I can't even remember what it is. Where you go around, you find all the different doodle bobs laying around that the Anorians left behind in Bree. Yeah, I've done that, like, I don't know, feels like dozens of times now, I'm not sure. But how many times have I gone to find Faramir in Gondor? I would say not many. Like, twice, maybe 3 times, you know what I mean? So we're getting into the parts of the world that I don't know as well. And I've appreciated being able to just focus on just that section of the storyline without, like the next part of the storyline coming up and being like, hey, Gladriel would like to talk to you over in, Ecthelion or whatever. Like, yeah, so it's not muddling the story for me as much as if you just do it when the server has everything available to it. So I've appreciated that. So if they close Treebeard, I mean, we could get Stone of the Turtle things, the experience inhibitor like I have here, the Stone of the Tortoise. That's what I have on Narna here. So, I could get that. And we could continue questing. We would just have to probably rely on B4, which we do anyway, but... he pulls up the thing that tells us every single quest in an area, and then we work on doing every single quest in an area. So that's been fun. So he would be then keeping us on track and making sure we don't end up doing quests that are ahead of where we're trying to be. So there'd be a little bit, there'd definitely be more like management of our questing, I think. So anyway, so that's the Treebeard thing, and we'll see. But once he started talking about it, I'm like, yeah, okay. I hadn't really thought about how low Treebeard's population had gotten, but I'm like, yeah. Oh, Egg Arthur, you say he brought that up. He brought up Treebeard because you asked about it in chat. Well, once he started talking about it though, and was like, you know, how they're going to reassess it in the fall when they are assessing the other ones, I was like, yeah, that's a fair point. So I'm glad we got a like advance warning, I guess, really. You know. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, what were you guys talking about there? Before it says, I don't mind them offering free transfers from Treebeard, but talking about closing Treebeard when they're the ones who put landscape difficulty on all the servers and then open 2 competing legendary servers, it seems like a problem of their own design. Yeah, it's possible that they, you know, moved ahead on plans faster than Treebeardians could amble our way along. Yeah. So it is. So it is. All right. Come on, Bilbo. So Talirian says, I wonder if they can add a special buff for Treebeard people who play on regular servers with the restriction of like Treebeard. Yeah, something that would reduce your experience and limit your level. Yeah, I mean, something that isn't just like a 0, because right now what we have is like on off, which is what the Stone of the Tortoise does. But it would be nice if there was some, you know, a little bit of modulation, like 20%, 60%, 0%. Stuff like that. That'd be cool. Anyway. And then you guys got to talk about language stuff. Cool. Oh, Egg Arthur, the harsh way to look at it is the Treebeard experiment was a failure. I don't think that at all. I think what it is they experimented on Treebeard and Shadowfax with the slider, with a difficulty slider. And I think that was enough of a success that they took that to the regular worlds. And by doing that, they took away one of the things that made Treebeard unique. The other thing that makes Treebeard unique is its slower progression. But I think part of the problem with that is it's a long haul, right? Like I did out the numbers at one point, and we were talking about like 2028 before we were going to catch up on Treebeard to what's happening on the regular worlds. That's a long time commitment. So I think there's a bunch of us that are in it for the long haul, but I think that the number of people who, I think the problem you get into is once you get to Rohan and Gondor, let's say you want to join in, you know, let's say you're like, cool, I love this idea. I want to come and join you guys where you are and quest with you from here on. One, there's not a lot of like publicity kind of encouraging people to do that. And then also, I don't know that you'd have to just hit the Valar just right to get the right level. So like we're currently 105. Like, is there a 105 Valar? Is there a 110 Valar? Like, you know what I mean? So it makes it harder to just jump in with a new character, or even take a character you've got and be like, yeah, I've been sitting on this guy who's at 50 and now I want to get back to playing, and you guys are all off at 110, so let me just, you know, push this button and I'll be there. Like, that would be really cool. so the fact that there isn't that sort of, there's no sort of catch up mechanic that makes it easy for people to join in. I think that makes any legendary server, that's a challenge that every legendary server has to deal with. So I wouldn't say Treebeard itself was a failure. I think a lot of the people who started there have been really happy with it. So and meeting the objectives of the player base, I think, is a measure of success. So unfortunately, I do agree in the sense that they don't have thousands of people active on Treebeard. Might be another measure of success that is not being met. So in that regard, I would say sure. Yeah, so Megan points out World of Warcraft did this and it ruined their classic servers. They kept releasing a new classic server every other year, then introduced 2 other game modes, and eventually spread the tiny community across 5 different games. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, as before points out, as a testing ground for landscape difficulty, it was obviously a success. Yeah. Obviously, because it definitely filtered out to like all the other worlds. So yeah, so if you get a chance, pop into the forums and see if you like that idea or have some other comments on the idea that I posted, if you want to join in that conversation. Oh, hang on, I think Boba wants to talk to me. Psst, psst, hey buddy. Okay, we've had it. All right, we're ready. Me and my friend here. Yes, it was obviously a success for the landscape difficulty. So I think what I'm going to do here today is finish up with this, and this is the last one of the of these things, of the further adventures, because there was the further adventures of Eladan and Elroy here, and now this is the further adventures of Bilbo Baggins. And then there are no other further adventures at this time. I keep hoping they'll put out some more. And then I think I'll start wrapping it up. After me will be B4, and he'll be doing a stream about plugins. And yes, we've already started talking about maybe putting together a plugin video about transfers and things you might need to do with your plugins when it comes to transferring, particularly character name changes. That is something that most plugins don't have like a button for, or a way to handle it without a little bit of hands-on work. So I think we're gonna put together a video about how to do that, the hands-on part, so that way people can keep their plugins functioning once they've transferred and changed names and all of those things. So, but yes, so after I wrap it up and and switch over to B4, do stick around for his, because then he can talk a little bit about some of the challenges he might be anticipating if one or to transfer and end up with some names changing shenanigans. Ooh, that'd be a good name for. Can I name a Hobbit Shenanigans? I've been trying to think of good names, because I'm gonna end up with, like, you know, some name changes happening. And people are like, yeah, a lot of the old names that people had used are gonna be open up now. Can't even spell shenanigans. I know what I mean. Because a lot of people, like, you know, throughout the years have, like, started on a server or just, you know, started a character, got the name, and then never came back. And so it's a question of, you know, those people aren't around anymore. They're not playing anymore, right? They just showed up and then they took off. And so a lot of those names will be available. And I was like what? Like, I could not think of it. Like, my brain just was like not in name mode. And I'm so used to having all sorts of unusual names for my characters that I'm like, I don't even know how to name something like a typical elf name. What is even a typical elf name? I don't even know, man. Yeah. So I figure over the next month, as as words get said to me, I'll be like, "Oh, that's a good Hobbit name. Well, that's a good elf name," and write it down. We'll see if I if I have a chance of getting any of those. Okay, when you finish your last one here for Bilbo for with Celebrimbor, you do have to go into the Hall of Fire and talk to Bilbo inside. So we'll go do that. But this works out all right because if I do it the same way, well, the only thing is I don't remember how much currency. I should have checked my currency level before while I was there. Because when you do the Bilbo Baggins ones, you go back to the same guy. Actually, I might go back to my house anyway. But there we go. So we finished that one. Dun, dun, dun. And that finishes our On a Mission Weekly. So we'll take some crafting materials. Thank you very much. Cool. One of my thingies just went up. Not that thingy. This thingy. One of my virtues. Oh, I should start working on that one. There we go. So, okay. So before I mentioned, by the way, that the wiki suggests there are Valars to get you to 50, 95, 105, 120, 130, and 140. So, like, I feel like they would have to be like, here is a bundle, a VIP bundle. Come join Treebeard. Here's your 105 Valar with whatever it is you would need to, like, join people who are questing at that level, and I don't know, whatever else you feel like, some money and some, like, here's your Treebeard starter bundle, to catch you up to where other people are already on the server. And I don't think they are going to spend a lot of time and energy on that. I think it's just, excuse me. I think at this point they're just like, population dropped, everyone to Mordor and Angmar. I think we'll just not bother. It's like, okay. King Cookie. According to the Silmarillion, basically every real elf name starts with an F. Oh, so wait, is that some, like, Elrond shade? Like, an Elrohir and Elladan? Like, are you throwing down on our half-elven over here? It's alright, I won't tell him. Galadriel, there you go. Celeborn, Celebrimbor. I don't know, there's a lot of C's. But yes, you've got your Feanors and Failings and Felrond. That's right. It's his birth name. Nobody calls him that though. Only his mom calls him Felrond. He's like, Mom, don't call me that in front of my friends. Just pointing out we have a G here, Glorfindel. Actually, yes. Oh, hey, is that? Look at that. Doesn't that look like a staircase? Am I, like, just seeing things here? Look at that. Looks like a staircase. Okay, you know what? Let's just jump in the water. Let's just do it because we're crazy. Oh, it's not a staircase, though. It's just the rock wall. All right, from the other side, though, that totally looked like a staircase. Hey, we have 2 raiders from Oglart. Welcome, Oglart. We were just checking out. We're just jumping in rivers because that's what you do. I love how you can see, though, in these rivers. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Probably should get out of the river at some point, but I think I can actually transit from here. So anyway, I was thinking about going back to one of my houses. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to do a lot of screenshots. That's going to be hard to get out that way. So, hello, Haru today. I assume that is a how are you? Whoa. Oh, I took falling damage there. That's crazy. I'm still in the water? What? There's the path. That's okay. You know what? We're just going to transit from here. Well, Oglart, we've been discussing the transfers and all of that coming up. Oh, which reminds me, I'll just probably remember to do this PSA on a regular basis. Embers of Enchantment, Figments of Splendor, Motes of Enchantment. Remember, you have a cap of 10,000 on those. And when you transfer your characters and they combine in a server, like, from here and here, excuse me, they will combine those currencies. And if you go over, you don't get the remainder. So just be prepared for that. It's very important. So make sure you spend the stuff. So yes, Talarian says when Tolkien wrote the Silmarillion, he was in an F mood. He was like, "You're going to give me trouble, I'll F you." No, not like that, right? Oh, got just done a very quick LOTRO stream. What were you working on today? We have been doing the further adventures because they give legendary item experience. And my character is level 57, so she gets plenty of that good, juicy experience. So we are. Where do we get to? 26. We got up to 26. Oh, that means we got the coffer of the cozy den. Yay. Now I just have to figure out who's going to gather all the things. Because her inventory is kind of full. Yeesh. Yeah, I gotta come figure out what I'm doing here. I think I will likely ask before for some assistance. Oh, you've just started playing an elven archer, level 11. Ah, well, fun. Yeah, elven archer, it's kind of a classic, isn't it, really? I've really been enjoying hobbits. She just happens to be an elf, maybe a high elf. Let's find out. Oh yeah, she did a tumble earlier. She's a high elf. Here's another way I know. Let's do a little dance 3, right? Isn't that? That's not how you write it. Hang on. There we go. Oh my gosh, look at her drum stuff just hovers in air. I didn't know it would do that. That's hilarious. That's a little bit of a glitch, isn't it? But yeah, that's the high elf dance 3. So that's how I know she's a high elf. Oh, it's Kagosi. Thank you. Just read your post on the forum. I really like your idea. Awesome. Well, I hope that if it's something that really resonates with the community, that the devs see it and are able to take some action on it. Because I think I love the idea of having like, my famous high elven drum magic. Because if you think about it, like, let me just port myself somewhere else, actually. I wanted to go to Mickle Delving. Well, we could just look at a map. So Eriador, the Shire. So if you're like looking at the Shire, right, there's that thing in Mickle Delving, the Blanco Marco thing. That's, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but it feels a little odd. And it's not very role play friendly. But there's a lot of places, even here, like south of the river, where I feel like there's like a little pocket here or there, maybe by like the Three Farthing Stone. Actually, we could just pop over there real quick, where there's the possibility of taking up some of that real estate, right? And making it into an area with like some benches and some trees and some shrubs, some flowers. Take assets that already exist in the game and they could make it that would fit like in the game. So like this, like, how difficult is that for them to put together? I don't know. I don't know if they have to place each flower individually or if they have like, if they can do clusters of flowers, whatever's easiest, right? Like something like this, do they have to place each flower individually or is it a cluster? If it's a cluster, that seems like a really easy way to do it, right? Stuff like this, maybe some little short walls to create like a fence. Yeah, and like, okay, holy crap, like what about this spot right here? Wouldn't this be perfect? Like this is almost perfect, like already made. What the heck? Just use this, SSG. This is great. Oh, and you know what would be really neat is when they do that thing about the sunflowers and the elf that went away. It'd be cool to have like some of the sunflowers in the Hobbit garden, but also have some sunflowers in the elf garden. That'd be really neat. Because then that would kind of relate back to their storyline. But what I was thinking of was, that's true. King Cookie said I would put it placed a little otherwise people don't constantly run through it. Yeah, it's a fair point. Because, yeah, I was thinking the Three Farthing Stone, which is over here. But people do kind of come and go in this area. But maybe nearby it, like, little bit to the north of here. Because not too many people go this way. I mean, you do a little bit sometimes. I do sometimes if I'm trying to travel like down to Woodhull. But if I'm doing that, I usually cut more a little diagonally. I don't go straight across. So, you know, something like over in this little valley, you know, that could be also an option. So, and I really think it'd be nice if there was one in each of the different kinds of areas because, yeah, like if you were to create one, how do you favor one group over another, right? Um, so I think that would be, that's why I suggested four. And you put them in the starter areas so that way anybody can access them. So that was some of my thinking on it. So yeah. Yeah, Oglart kind of want to play a Hobbit too. Hobbits are so much fun. You know, I started playing as a dwarf, and this is before I figured out how to move my camera around like comfortably. I was doing everything on the keyboard. So if I'm like running, I would be like turn, 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 turn. So I didn't do really well on fence running, for example. But then once I started to learn how to use my mouse a lot more, that's made a huge difference. Like I can now curve. All right, we're gonna stop doing that so we don't make ourselves seasick. But yeah, yeah. I started as a champion, but then I realized I couldn't see anything. So because I'm running around and all I'm seeing is like this, and I'm like, I can't see up. It's so frustrating. So then I learned how to like zoom out and kind of like give myself the angles that works for me. So then I've been able to play a Hobbit, and I've been really enjoying it. Unless I'm in the troll shaws. The troll shaws are always difficult. So, yes, and as Dame Hypatia points out to Oglart, welcome to LOTRO. And it is not a race, or it's a marathon, or to translate the German saying, the journey is the reward. And that is absolutely the case when you're traveling through LOTRO. If you've read the books, there's lots of little Easter eggs dotted throughout. You do run across the fox, for example, that the hobbits ran into as they were walking through the Shire. Things like that. Oh my gosh, Oglart, if you are reading the books and going through the epic storyline at the same time, you're going to find a lot of wonderful parallel stuff that happens between those two, and it's really neat. It's really fun to to enjoy seeing it that way. So you're perfect. You're right on track there. So, all right, well, folks, I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute, and we will turn it over to B4. He's going to do his stream called Plugging Along, where he's going to talk about LOTRO plugins. And next week, I'll be back as normal, and I'm sure we'll be talking about the new servers again, and any other news that's come up about them since then. I don't expect there to be any news, but you never know. There might be something. So yeah, we'll be absolutely happy to keep having our conversations. Dame Hypatia, before she forgets, wants to tell me about a May 25th event for knitting and other crafts in Enschede. Is that how you pronounce it? Craft Circle. No. Okay. Well, I can kind of grab that, but I'll just go ahead and type it down. Write it down now. Craft Circle. Thank you. Yes, we know it's less than 300 kilometers away because nothing in the Netherlands is, I think, more than 300 kilometers away. So it's a wonderfully small country. It's a delight in some regards. I love that. All right. Any last second stuff? Yes, throw it in the chat. I'll be back in the chat even well before I was streaming. I'll be around. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to talk about before I finish up, drop it in the chat real fast. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be back next week. We'll talk about server stuff. We'll probably do some more questing. Keep working on this legendary item reward track. Possibly look at the coffer of the cozy den if I, excuse me, can manage to get it off there by then. Manage to get some inventory slots. I could just start a new character. Ha! All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Kagosi, for the kind words. And stick around for before. and I will see you next week. All right. Bye, everybody.